Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 15 is entitled as Purushottama Vidya, Purushottama Yogam. Sloka 6, Part 5. Na tad bhāsayate sūryo, na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ, yad gatvā na nivartante, tad dhāma paramaṁ. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. From the previous session, we learned the location of the spiritual world, which is situated above the Prakriti. And we also learned that the spiritual world is limitless in its size. Today, we will see some more information about the spiritual world. As we learned that the spiritual world is made up of Shuddha Sattva. It is eternal and it never gets created or destroyed. Whereas this Lila Vibhuti, the material world where we live, is created and destroyed periodically, and this is done for the pleasure of the Lord. Therefore it is called Lila Vibhuti. Whereas Nitya Vibhuti is eternal, meaning it never goes through such things, never disturbed. In the Prakriti, we see so many transformation of things from one state to another state, and they are totally in a different state with different attribute. Likewise, in the spiritual world, there are changes and transformation takes place, but they happen by the wish of the Lord and the Lord's devotees over there. The Shuddha Sattva takes many shapes and forms. Let's understand that in little more detail. For someone to experience bliss, happiness, there are three things needed: Bhogya, Bhoga Upakarana, Bhoga Sthana. That is, an object to experience. That's called Bhogya. Tools that are used to experience that object are called Bhoga Upakarana, and the place where one experiences that object is called Bhoga Sthana. So these three things are needed for one to experience the bliss, happiness. For example, Bhogyam, the object of experience, say a flower, a rose flower. Bhogasthanam is a place where one enjoys this flower, could be a garden. And Bhogopakaranam, the tools that are needed for one to enjoy the flower, could be a sunlight, cool breeze. Even the senses that we have are the Bhogopakaranam. There may be sunlight, but if one doesn't have eyes to see the flower, what is the use of having the sunlight? Therefore, the senses are also Bhogopakaranam. That is in this world. Whereas in the spiritual world, the Bhogyam, the object of experience, object of pleasure, is none other than the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna himself. Over there, we will be worshipping him, we will be serving him, and we are going to experience him, his qualities. This is going to be the Anandam, enjoyment, bliss over there. It is the Lord's divine form which one enjoys in the spiritual world. If the Lord's form is not present, whom are we going to worship, whom are we going to serve, how are we going to understand and experience His qualities. Therefore, it is the Lord's form that becomes our object of experience, object of enjoyment and bliss. And the bhogopakaranam over there are, say, the sandal paste, garlands, tulasi, etc. All these things are used in the service of the Lord. The sandal paste are applied to the lotus feet of the Lord. Tulasi garlands and flower garlands are offered to Him. So one gets an experience, the term that's used called anubhava, by offering or utilizing these things in service of the Lord. Therefore, they are the bhogopakarana. And bhogasthanas are the mandapas, gopurams, gardens, and many other places where the Lord is situated, who is the object of experience, to whom these articles are offered. So, bhogya, bhogopakarana, bhogasthana. As we saw earlier, even in this world, we have these three things: bhogyam, bhogopakarana, bhogasthana. But they come from the prakriti, whereas in the spiritual world, they are from the Shuddha Sattva, and that they transform as per the will of the Lord and His devotees. And these things are free of karma. In this world, the things are totally based upon karma. If I get a flower for my pleasure, it is based on my karma. Or while walking, if I get a thorn on my foot, it is also based on my karma. Therefore, things over here, bhoga, bhogopakarana, bhogosthana, are mixed with both good and bad based on one's karma. Whereas it is totally opposite in the spiritual world. Bhoga, bhogasthana, bhogopakarana over there are not based on karma, because as we already learned, spiritual world is karma free. But these three things does exist over there as well, not based on karma, but based on one's desire to serve the Lord. Therefore, over there, unlike in the material world, there everything is good, there's nothing bad, everything is divine. If one desires to offer a flower to the Lord, the flower immediately gets blossomed, so that Jivatma over there can offer to the Lord. If one wants sandalwood paste that can be applied to the Lord, then the paste appears right there for that purpose. The spiritual world is filled with many inhabitants. It is said, Kurmadin divyalokam tadumanimayam mandapam tatresham tasmin dharmati pitam tadupari kamalam chamagragi nischa Vishnum Devi Vibhishayuta Ganamurakam Padike Vainateyam Senesam Dwarapalan Kumuda Mukakaran Vishnu Bhaktan Prapatye. In the spiritual world, there are many lokas. Loka for Kurma, known as Kurma Loka, Varaha Loka, Narasimha Loka. Like that, many lokas are there. And there is a beautiful mansion, Mantapam, Manimayam Mantapam, Tatra Sesham, that is coiled by Adisesha. And over there is a Dharmati Pitam, that is Simhasana, a throne. On top of it, Tadupari Kamalam, a lotus flower. chamaragrahinischa. Many surrounded to fan the Lord with chamara. Vishnu, the Supreme Lord Vishnu, was seated on that Dharmati Pitam Devihi, along with his consort Sri Devi, Bhudevi, Neela Devi, Vibhushayuta Ganam, holding Shankh Chakra Gada, Gadkham, Dhanush. Over there, Uragam, Adishesha is there, Paduka, the Lord's sandals are present there, Vainateyam, Garuda is also present there, Senesam, Vikshvakshena, a personal attendant of the Lord present there, Dwarapalan, Kumudamukha Ganan. There are guards near 8 corners by the names Kumuda, Kumudaksha, Pundarika, Vamana, Shankukarna, Sarvanetra, Sumukha, Bhadra, Subhadra, Jaya, Vijaya, so forth. Vishnu Bhaktan, the Lord is surrounded by many devotees, both Nityatma, they are called as Nityasuris, and Muktatmas, the liberated Atmas. Nityatmas or Nityasuris are those who are always present in the spiritual world, whereas Muktatmas, at one point of time, they were in this Prakriti, in this material world, and through the process of Bhakti, they have attained the spiritual world. They are called Muktatmas. These various lokas in the spiritual world are Bhogasthana, a place to experience the enjoyment for the devotees. And these lokas has many bhogopakarana like flowers, garlands, sandalwood paste, chamara, and many more. Now the question comes, if the Nitya Atmas and Mukta Atmas who are present there in the spiritual world are serving the Lord with flowers, garlands, chamara, sandalwood paste, and many articles, that means they must be having body with hands, legs, eyes to see the Supreme Lord's beautiful form. To chant the Vedic mantras, they need mouth and tongue. Pretty much everything that we have here are needed over there to do those services. So the question is, do we have a body over there? Answer is yes. We all get a body if we so desire, and this body is made of Shuddha Sattva. The difference is the body that we get over here in this material world is because of our karma, and we don't have a choice of what body we want. But over there in the spiritual body, it is not because of karma, it is because of one's desire, one's free will, and they can take any type of bodies as they want. When we say they, the liberated souls and the souls who are eternally present there, because that body is free of karma, it doesn't have any of the faults that the body of this world has. The body that we got now goes through 6 modifications: asti, jayate, vartate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinasyati. Existence, birth, growth, change, decay, and finally death. But the body that one takes over there in the spiritual world does not go through any of these transformations, modifications, because that body is not attained by karma. Therefore, it is free of any faults. And the purpose of obtaining those bodies as per one's choice is to serve the Supreme Lord over there. That body one takes in the spiritual world is known by Divya Mangala Vigraha. That body is divine and auspicious form, whereas the body that we get over here is called Sharira, that which decays. Over there in the spiritual world, one can take any number of bodies. If one Jivatma like to take many number of bodies, he can do so. Sa ekada bhavati, sa tridha bhavati, panchadha bhavati. As Upanishad said, he can take one body to serve the Lord, or he can take 3 bodies, or he can take 5 bodies, or he can take many bodies. There is no restriction for him to do so. There are religions which say that body is the cause of all the problems. Because we have body, we have pains and pleasures. Therefore, one should get rid of the body. In Chandogya Upanishad, it is said, Ashariram vava santam na priya priye sprashataha, means that pleasure and pain do not touch one who is without body. But we have to understand this clearly. The cause of pain and pleasure that we experience in this body is due to our own karma. So one needs to work on to get rid of karma. Getting rid of body without clearing karma is not going to be a permanent solution. So one has to get rid of karma, therefore one will not get the material body to go through the pains and pleasures. But in the spiritual world, the body that the living entity takes is not contaminated like the body of this world. Therefore it is called as Divya Mangala Vigraha. Vigraha means form, Mangala means auspicious, Divya means divine, transcendental. In the previous sessions, we have learnt about Prakriti, which is counted as 24 tattvas, 24 elements, because it takes many different forms, like from Prakriti to Mahan, Mahan to Ahankara, and Ahankara has Sattvika Ahankara, Rajasa Ahankara, Tamasa Ahankara. From Sattvika Ahankara, we get Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya, and Manas. From Tamasa Ahankara, Pancha Tanmatra and Pancha Bhutas, which makes it total of 24 elements. Similarly, the Shuddha Sattva also has many forms, but is not counted as many tattvas, but just as one, called Shuddha Sattva, because all the forms of Shuddha Sattva are eternal. It is not one is created from the other. Everything exists eternally over there. The Indriyas are present, the Chakshusindriya, the Granendriya, Shabdendriya, Sparshendriya, all these Indriyas are always present there. The living entities can take any of these Indriyas as they need. Therefore, it is not the sequence like the one we see in the Prakriti. The Divya Pancha Bhutas that we learnt earlier, Parameshti, Puman, Vishvaha, Nivartaha and Sarvaha, they exist all the time. It is not that they got created in sequence from something else. Therefore, they are all counted as one, as Shuddha Sattva. What we have learnt in this session is about the spiritual world, which has three things: bhogya, an object to experience the pleasure; bhogopakarana, tools for experiencing the facilities to experience that object; bhogasthana, the place where the object can be experienced. We also learned that over there the jivatmas can take bodies. If they so desire to serve the Lord, they can take one body or many bodies. One body for some time or many bodies for some time, or they can be without body as well. We also learned, unlike the Prakriti, which is counted as 24 elements, over there, though there are many forms, it is counted as just one. That is Shuddha Sattva. Now, that opens up an important question to discuss: whether this Shuddha Sattva is ajada or jada. That is it self-luminous or not? From the Sloka itself, it is clear that it is self-luminous. But we have to understand the details of what it means, which will be covered in the next session. Over here, we learned that when one attains the spiritual world, one can attain a spiritual body which is made of Shuddha Sattva. This Shuddha Sattva, it is said, produces knowledge and happiness to the fullest. That body is said Divya Mangla Vigraha, also Satchitananda Vigraha, eternity, knowledge and bliss. Namaste, Hare Krishna.